Alright, so welcome back. Hoping you guys are having a fabulous day. Today, I've received a lot of questions, right? There's a lot of, first off, people picking up the game again, and there's a lot of people that have been just asking me generally, hey, how the hell am I getting decimated by other Escanors? But my Escanor hits like a wet noodle. Like, it hits like nothing. It does nothing. It's doing less than everybody else. I'm going to give you a few things just to know in the back of your head. Again, this is basically applied to most units. A few things you can do for your Escanor right now and help them out a little bit. Again, most of this stuff is just things you should know for every unit. It's the basic information that revolves around everything, and some things that are just basic associations, basic teams that help Escanor. And again, for other units, if you want them to hit for more, you apply this same information. With that, if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, helps out a ton. Also, go to the tavern and wish Merlin a happy birthday and get that free affinity points. She's right there. Have fun. So with it, the first thing is I've dropped a lot of guides recently where I showed off my Escanor and you've been seeing my substats. So basically my Escanor, right? This people, like a bunch of people have been asking, like, hey, what gear? First off, it's attack crit. That's the entire gear. For substats, the reason that my Escanor is really high up there on the attack rolls is, first off, it's maxed out. I've maxed out the entire thing here. This is at 512. I've seen people like asking me, should I reroll for the 520? You don't do that. It's like a percentage you have to do. Anything like around this range, if you're a few off, it doesn't matter. Rolling for perfection is the stupidest thing you can do. It's a small percentage change, but it's a loss of an insane amount of materials, right? So right here, 276 is perfectly fine. If you're like 240, 260, maybe then that's a problem. But remember, you don't want to reroll for a perfect stat. The entire like chance of that happening is very low. Stupid idea, right? So again, if you're building Escanor, you go attack crit. If you're playing geared PvP, this is why. Maybe somebody else is hitting for more. Maybe you're trying HP defense to go first. Who knows? But again, you want to go attack. You do not want to go crit chance. I saw a lot of people like saying, hey, I'll use crit chance substats to help him crit more. Why? He already crits pretty much mostly. And just having attack, he scales off attack. It's better to have attack. Use attack substats. Do not roll crit damage or crit chance. In my opinion, I've seen people test it. It's stupid. Just roll attack. You'll be perfectly fine. Just use the Escanor that you already had, the extra Escanor gear if you built that. Have fun with that. We're also getting a bunch of leveled up gear already from this event. So use that. Get your gear. You are it. That is, again, the basic boost you're going to get. And roll attack stats. Go pure attack percentage. Get to 15. It's going to cost you a lot of hammers. But when you max it out, that is how he'll hit like a truck in geared PvP or even against some PvE content. You want him to hit for more. You got to do these things. UR gear is the biggest jumps you'll get. And again, another quick tip, right? So this is on the side of everything, yeah? You have, like, the game, right? That's how it works. The game is very simple. You collect characters. After you collect a bunch of characters, level up a bunch of characters, you get GP points. Those GP points can be spent and level up your Constellation. The Constellation is a big thing, okay? If you're going in PvP and you're getting decimated by somebody, there's a high chance that that person really has some good substats and has their characters built really well because they have such an insane amount of GP points. They've really maxed out all constellations. That could happen, all right? Recently, as I've gotten a lot of new characters that I've been missing for a while now, I've just have a overflow, like a freaking insane amount of GP points lying around, and I spent them all, and I literally jumped up a few hundred CC on it, and my substats got way better, right? So keep that in mind, that GP points will affect everything, and this is something to just know for the future, that if you are lower on Constellation, somebody is going to hit for more, right? That's how it's going to go, because they might have more than you. You have to then go and level up your account, level up units you were gonna use, right? Don't just waste mats leveling up garbage units, but check your ult levels. Maybe there's some rare SR units that you have to go and use your ult levels on, otherwise it's stupid, right? For example, here, you can go through some of your units and just check what their ult levels are, and then if there's some remaining on some specific character, I recommend any SR or R character just to level them up. That's free GP points, that's also free box CC. Realize the more HP you have in the box CC, the better. All of these are stats that do get buffed, so keep that in mind when you are working everything. Constellation plays a big part in the game, and you just might be lower than everyone else, and that's why you have to go work on your account. Recently, it's been a big jump for a lot of players, including me, because we had a 4-person collab, which that's a lot of GP points, right? You had a good banner here that a lot of characters you might be missing are finally coming to people's possession. They're also getting their ults maxed down on these characters. They're getting big SSR rates on these free banners. So much stuff has been dropping, so GP points have been easier to claim, and hence why they've been jumping on a lot of stats and CC. Keep that in mind. This is why you might be losing out and just not hitting as hard, and how you can improve that is by leveling stuff up, getting some ults up there, getting all of this done. Provide as much GP points as you can to your entire Constellation thing so you can level that up and actually do better. Just keep that in mind. And again, when it comes to Escanor, realize right now that there is currently a free cosmetic you can go and obtain for him. It is going to be this one right here. So you have this, you have the weapon, which is also for free. Again, there is no headpiece, that's how it works. But there's a free weapon and the regular costume itself. And again, if you have this, level up and max out all his weapons, why wouldn't you? Again, in the future, if you plan on buying these, so I maxed this out, which is not really the best idea, because in the future, you'd buy these and those are better. But I'm not buying this for a very long time, because whenever a costume sale drops, that's the best time to do it. And I don't know if it's really worth it when there's other costumes that are discounted at that point. If that's better to buy than this, I'm going to see how it goes and plan that out. But again, right now, if you're getting destroyed, could be somebody actually maxed out his costumes. It's a lot of extra attack and all of that. You're getting an extra 180, 180, 180, so 210 if you upgrade it. Then an extra percentage of crit damage and crit chance, depending on what you buy. So keep that in mind. That is something big also to just to know that if somebody has this over you, that is why they're hitting for more and you're not. If you're playing PvE, this is again a lower of an increase, but still it is kind of there. So keep this in mind if you care for it. There are, there is one for free, but these might be the reason you're falling behind. But again, in the future, you can buy these, level him up, make him hit for more, but that's in the future. Right now, they're paid for it, which is not worth it to get. Wait for them for gems, then get them. And again, I also pulled the GC database over here to show you some comps and some things to understand with this character itself. Again, if you're going off association, right, you have the Archangels. So you have to understand this, that at some point, that if you're not 6-6ing your characters, right, also your association characters, you're missing out some substats, you're missing out some stuff here. So keep it in mind, right? There's a lot of people that have had the chance. They've had the chance to 6-6 sub-slot characters, the association characters. You had so many chances in these recent banners. They've been popping up constantly. So if you do that, obviously you're going to get a big jump in that. And again, with this character specifically, right? You want to crit, you want to do all of that. Maybe you want to use Sariel to do that. Maybe you want to go and use Red Tarmiel to consistently like upgrade your HP, just getting, that recovery. And then also disabling the skill effects. That's good. So all of this is a thing that plays factor into everything. So if you are, at a low association on specific characters, realize you're missing out, okay? With Escanor as a character, you do have associations like this, crit chance plus 19.2% with Merlin. You might already have a 6-6 Merlin, so over a Sariel that you could use, you could just go Merlin, because you might have already maxed her out. You might have all the costume sets for her, because you have all the Merlins, so it might be a better choice to lean onto using Merlin. Level 90 her, make sure she's awakened and all of that, and then use her as your association. It'll jump your stats up a lot. If she is 6-6, that is bigger than actually using a 2-6, 3-6 Sariel. I see people making that entire problem, or mistake that, hey, I'm going to run Sariel, because Sariel's Grace is always the best. Everyone tells me to, but you got to keep it in mind. If it's not a 6-6 or it's not up there on the ult level, there's no point in running it because you're losing out on first potential CC and just potential substats, right? So when I say substats, I mean the stats. You know what I'm trying to say here, right? But that's how it's going to work. So again, let's say you have a 1-6 light red Tarmiel. Great, Tarmiel's Grace is broken, but if you're losing that much CC, you're losing that much stats and all of that, maybe it's not the best idea to run that character. For example, there are some associations that can really jump you up like 1,000 CC, which it might not look a lot to you, but that's a lot of freaking CC, right? It could make it or break it. For you going first or for your stats being a little bit higher, let's say you left them a 1 HP. If you had a better, sub-association character, that could have been good, right? So again, if you have a 6-6 Sariel, which is very easy to obtain by now, you had a free banner here, you had a wish gotcha, you had so many opportunities to at least have one 6-6 Grace. Use that for the reason of doing more. Sariel's Grace is good, but if you want to go and run Merlin for that increased crit chance, definitely could. If you want to run Melly for that increased attack, you can also do that. Fully up to you. Again, mentioned Sariel's there. When it comes to running a team, right, you want to keep Escanor alive, you might want to go Queen Diane. She's a very good association, or rather character, on the field to kind of use. And again, if you go and use a Red Tarmiel association on her, she's just going to sit there healing. That's the entire point, right? So you'll keep Escanor alive, allowing him to stack his passive, and then proceed to get some cards ready to decimate the following turns. So if you want to go and run that, you definitely can. If you want to run Meliodas for, again, CC and just to have him on the field for some decent damage dealing and all of that, definitely works. If you want to run like a triple team where you include, guess who, Elizabeth, you definitely could. She also does buff some characters, and that's how it works. If we were to read her passive over here, every time one of the basic 7 deadly sins or archangels allies uses a skill, increases their basic stats by 4%, stacking up to 6 times at max stack. What is it? The heroes, again, so these same 7 deadly sins or what is it? Goddesses. They all are archangels, right? They will get a buff, which will be recovering 30% of max HP, then increases all the hero stats by 15% for 5 turns. This might be why you're getting decimated in the thing of they're running Elizabeth and their stats are going to be higher because they just buffed. They could also be running Gother with 3 different races, which gives us 7% attack related stats for the team. which is a good amount. So keep that in mind, that's one thing. Again, relics increases all, allies' basic stats by 1% every time the hero uses a buff or debuff skill. Again, it's a relic. If you have it, it makes it a little bit better. I think Elizabeth doesn't have one. Deanne doesn't have one. These units don't have one. Ludociel does, which gives him a buff on his like overall stats. But how his passive works, they increase his defense-related stats of enemy heroes with a combat class lower than the hero by 40% for 3 turns in PvP. Applies when entering battle. This could also be something they're running, which is ruining you. Also, there's if they have it right, they could be running Bond, right? The Ragnarok Bond on the backline there, which is giving them a bunch of stat increases. Increases attack-related stats by 10% and increases or decreases all enemies' pierce rate, crit chance, and crit damage by 15%. This is why maybe you're getting decimated, because you're losing out on those things, so you might never actually see what his bench is, or the player's bench is, unless you check. That is why you're actually losing out on a bunch of your crit, and all of that could be because of this, right? So again, there's a bunch of things to keep in mind with this character, a bunch of things that are going against you or going for you. Just, you have to work everything out, try the character out, level them up, 90 them, 100 them, do all of that. Get their cosmetics built up, get everything built up, right? All of this plays a factor into how you will do when it does come to the character itself. So you can get that free, cosmetic that is given to you for affinity. Do that. Do everything you possibly can to raise your CC. Get your constellations up, get your box up, get all of that up, because these will play factors into you doing damage. You gotta play the game in the long run. You gotta do these things. It will help you and actually push you towards making your Escanor hit for more. Again, it's more basic information, but if you understand all of this while putting it into the game, you will do better with your character. Hopefully it was a better guide. Again, it's a little bit more, I guess you could say, new player oriented, but there are a few things that maybe you might have picked up here and like, oh, is that why I'm getting destroyed? Hopefully I did that, and hopefully I brought something good for you. With that being said, that's all I got for you here today. Again, put all these things together. If you want to run Brother Bun on bench, extra substats, that'll help you. If you want to go and run Sariel or Merlin for those extra substats as the association, do all of that. Have fun with it. I'll catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe. That's been it for me. Peace out, enjoy. And I'm recording for a while. I'll cut this down. Don't worry. Peace out.